To get started, we just have a few commands to write out. Okay, a few integers to put into place. Integer 1 is my data. Oops, wow, butchered that. We're going to set that to 0. Next, we have two constant integers. These will never change, therefore they are constant. And I'm just going to copy that code and put it down below and change the numbers. So now we have 2 pins being issued on the Arduino unit, 2 and 3. Notice how I've never used 1 and or 0 and 1 yet. Okay, that's later on. Those are to issue commands via 2 pieces of hardware, and you can see that there are a text or TX and an RX written next to them. Again, later lessons will yield the secrets of those 2 pins, but for right now we're just using 2 and 3. Now, void setup. Wow. And an opening bracket. Serial data happens in serial land, so serial begin. Just like that. And then we have to issue 2 pins on the Arduino unit to be outputs. So that's pin mode as a command. LED pin 1 is an output. Just like that. And then again, just to keep myself from typing so much, we're just going to go like this and change that to 2. And then we'll close that bracket out. Alright, now our loop. So void loop. Opening bracket. Now we have to say listen. Listen. What I need to listen to for something. So if serial data or serial available so that's a command that can be issued for the Arduino unit to understand, hey, now I'm looking for something. I'm looking for serial data. So that's why it's orange. And if it's anything, so if it's greater than anything, so greater than 0, now as you could say, what if it was a D or an H on the keyboard? Well, we'll see. So my data equals a serial period read. So now it's constantly reading for the serial. Is it there? Yes. Okay, now do something. What's it going to do? Well, not just quite yet. We have to say, what is it? If my data don't you just hate when I do that? is absolutely equal to 1. Then let's do an event. We'll say digital write LED pin 1. And we'll issue that high. Okay, now notice I have a couple starting points here. I got this bracket open, now this bracket open. So now I need to kind of close those brackets out. Now, another thing we should do is write a little bit of code that says, well, what happens if I do something else? How about turn the LED off? Or how about spit out a command so I know that it's actually taking effect first, and then we can set up the hardware later. So in that case, what? We issue the lines print line. Okay, you could do that one, or you could do this one. Serial print. Perfect. And then we could close out of that world. But we haven't closed out of this world yet. Okay, so we've closed this little world. So now this is called a nested if statement. Okay, an if statement within an if statement. If one is true, the other one must be true before the nested one takes place. We're just going to copy paste the first if statement down below, and now we could change this to, let's say, if my data is 2, LED pin is now low. Now we can close out of the main world, and there we go. There's a little bit of code. Let's see how many errors I get. Oh yeah, let's see. So here's my first world. Here's a second world. So this is my main world. Notice I can do something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is an odd number and a bad number to have with brackets. So this one will go to this one. This one will go to this one. This one to this one. This one to this one. Brackets are, when I first started programming, brackets were the hardest thing to understand as far as like especially nested if statements, because it could get complex. But now they're pretty easy, just as long as you learn the rule of even brackets and common sense, I think. So let's try to run that. Perfect. Let's throw it over to the Arduino unit. Now I'm just going to go to the serial monitor and type in 1. If it's 1 and hit enter, something should pop up. 2. Notice 3 and 4 do not yield anything. A 1 and a 2 equals 49 and 50. But a 3, a 4, or a 5 do not initialize anything. It doesn't spit out into the window. Okay. So now we have data that's being plugged back and forth. All right. So what can we do with this data? Well, a lot. So first off, let's set up our hardware to see if the LED thing pops on and pops off when I issue a 1 and 2 on the keyboard. All right, so that's in the next video.